Just think about it. 3 years ago, just over 3 years ago, we were having the conversation about whether or not Tony Ferguson could beat Khabib. And now he is on a 6-fight losing streak. This upcoming Saturday, he is going to be fighting Paddy Pimblett. The legend Tony Ferguson is going to be fighting Paddy Pimblett. And this very well could be the last fight of his career. So for those of you who don't know, what happened was Tony Ferguson was scheduled to fight Khabib Nurmagomedov back in 2020, right around the outbreak of COVID. But Khabib went back to Russia to look after his father, and after that happened, a last-minute replacement in Justin Gaethje came and fought Tony Ferguson. And in that fight, Justin Gaethje beat the crap out of Tony Ferguson for about 22.5 minutes before Tony finally cracked. And in that fight, Justin Gaethje took Tony's soul. And since then, he has never been the same. What's up, everybody? Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate each and every one of you. And if you could do me a favor of hitting that like button and hitting that subscribe button, it helps with the YouTube algorithm and it helps me grow the channel. From that point, he's lost to Charles Oliveira. He's lost to Beneil Dariush. He got face kicked into the shadow realm by Michael Chandler. He's lost to Nate Diaz. He's lost to Bobby Green. 6 in a row Tony has lost. And he had one of the longest winning streaks in lightweight history. But I think it goes back to what Khabib said at the time. Is that even when Tony was winning, even prime Tony, when he was being his badass self, smiling covered in blood across the Octagon to Anthony Pettis, which was one of the most brutal and incredible lightweight fights in UFC history. Even in the ones where he won, Tony took a ton of damage. And I think now it really is starting to show. So what I think, and we've seen glimmers of Tony. We've seen glimpses of him back in there. When he fought Michael Chandler that first round, I actually thought he won that round. Then he got face kicked. In there with Nate Diaz, there were some glimmers of the old Tony that fans all love. That fans thought could be the guy to beat Khabib. But you also see some really just shocking stuff. Tony always seems slow. He seems lost in there. He seems lost in the Octagon. In his last 3 or 4 performances, he's clearly enjoying himself in there. But it's like, which way do I turn? How do I move my hips? Right? Which way should I bob? Which way should I weave? Should I throw a hook? Should I throw a right hand? It seems like he's thinking way too much in there about what he should be doing next. Whereas everybody in there is almost on autopilot, right? They have their game plan, but they've prepared their bodies so much that they can execute. But it's like that connection between Tony's brain and body is gone. He doesn't have it anymore. Now, there is a caveat to this. He did do Hell Week or whatever with David Goggins. Now, Tony's always been known for having impeccable cardio. The guy never got tired in the old days, and he still doesn't get tired now. But maybe, just maybe, this flipped a switch to bring back that gritty old Tony. But right now, he is favored to lose with basically 4-1 odds against Paddy Pimblett. And Paddy's doing all the right things right now, He came into this fight saying this is a lose-lose. If I lose to Tony, everybody's going to call me a fraud and say that, I'm this and I'm that, and I'm not good enough to be in here with the best people. But if I win, I've beaten a washed Tony. So this does nothing for my career. But what he's been doing lately, what he's been putting out there on social media, I 100% agree with the route he's taken. He's called Tony Ferguson one of the top 5 lightweights in UFC history. And I would agree. Maybe not of all time, maybe not in history, but he's up there, right? He's had some legendary fights. Just a great guy, been in there with some of the best people. And he's given us tons and tons of entertainment over the years, right? Paddy's been making this about sharing the Octagon with a legend, right? With someone who's really dangerous. He's even talked about getting into an old school classic Tony Ferguson war with him. Who knows? I have no idea whether that's going to happen or not, whether or not a war is going to happen, or whether or not Paddy is going to completely steamroll him. I don't know but what I do know is Paddy is getting the job done on Saturday night, unless something crazy happens, unless that training with David Goggins clicked something in Tony where he gets his old self back. And even if he does get his old self back, which I doubt, I still don't think he's beating Paddy. Because at the end of the day, Paddy's 28 years old. Tony is 39. Tony's been through countless wars. And Paddy's career in the UFC involves very little damage. Tony can catch him. But every ounce of me is saying that Paddy the Baddy is going to come out on top. Either via TKO, via submission, via unanimous decision. I don't know what it's going to be, but I think Paddy is going to get the job done on Saturday night. And unfortunately, because of that fact, I also think this is going to be the last time we see Tony inside that Octagon. Because if Dana and if the UFC keeps letting him fight, the guy's only going to get more and more damage on him, more and more CTE. Like after this, if he loses, he's got to go. He's got to hang up the gloves. It's been real, Tony. But, seeing you go on an 8 or 9 fight losing streak, taking countless amounts of damage and knockouts and TKOs and submissions, at 39, it's not something that all your beloved fans want to see. We want you to retire. We want you to maybe coach, do something else. Stay in the game, but don't put your body on the line. What do you guys think? Do you think that Tony's going to come out on top on Saturday? Do you think he's going to be around, maybe even make another title run? I don't think so. How do you think Paddy gets the job done? Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching.